Hey friends, I want to get back to American Miscellany because I was kind of disappointed by the last essay. Essay number 134 was our last essay. It was called Connection Between Commerce and Intellectual Eminence. And I don't know, it was a lot of words just to say that when you travel, you transmit information. I don't know. And also slightly racist, vaguely, just vague racist overtones. There's a lot of that in here. This book was published in 1865, and there is a lot of that here. So we always have to take these words, with a little kindness as to where they came from. I don't know about this next essay. Our next essay, essay 135, is called "The Bounties of Providence," and kind of sounds like it might be another one of those sermon essays, but we'll see. All these essays are different and they all come from different authors. So, all right, let's read a little bit. American Miscellany, page 329, essay number 135, The Bounties of Providence. The number of human beings on the earth is calculated at nearly 1,000 millions. All these are fed from the produce of the ground, for even animal food is itself the produce of the ground. It is true that for this result, man in general must labor. But how small an actual portion of this immense productiveness is due to man. His labor plows the ground and drops the seed into the furrow. From that moment, a higher agency supersedes him. The ground is in possession of influence which he can no more guide, summon, or restrain than he can govern the ocean. The mighty alembic of the atmosphere is set at work. The rains are distilled, the gales sweep, the dews cling, the lightning darts its fertilizing fire into the soil, the frost purifies the rapidity of the fermenting vegetation. Perhaps 1,000 other agents are in movement, of which the secrets are still hidden from man. But excuse me. But the vividness of whose force penetrates all things, and the extent of whose action is only to be measured by the globe, while man stands by and has only to see the naked and drenched soil clothing itself with the tender vegetation of spring, or the living gold of the harvest, the whole loveliness and bounty of nature delighting his eye, soliciting his hand, and filling his heart with joy. But the wonder does not come to its limit with the provision for man. The forest, the field, the mountain, the shore are all peopled with eager existence. The world is all life. The quadruped millions range freely, and are fed abundantly in regions into which man never struck a spade. We speak of things of common knowledge, the buffalo ranges and herds of thousands in the realms of the New World, to which man has scarcely yet given a name. Of course, back in 1865, this was true. In Africa, the casual migration of the antelope has displayed such myriads that they have been compared to the movement of a great army. The elephant in eastern Africa is almost a master of the land. Again, so long ago. Who feeds these millions? They can produce nothing for themselves. But their table is spread upon the ground, and their provision is perpetual. If the tempest ravages it, or the sun scorches, or the frost smites, they are led by instinct, the invisible hand of Providence, to another soil, and still the land furnishes their inexhaustible food. But the support of man and the quadruped races is but a portion of this wonderful productiveness. Of this wondrous productiveness. The millions of the reptile tribes, the millions of the insect tribes, are all to be fed from the ground. Another race then comes into view, equally fed from land and ocean, the fowls of the air. No grasp of enumeration can calculate their multitudes. The migration of a single tribe, the wood pigeons of the North American forests, has covered the sky with a column of flight, a living cloud 10 miles long and a mile broad. In some instances, the migration is said to have lasted for days, continually darkening the sky. Such numbers defy all counting, yet they are all fed from the produce of the ground. Even the birds of prey and the seabirds are fed from that which was originally the produce of the ground. It is computed that the land of the globe would be equal to the support of 15 times the number of its present inhabitants, or might sustain a population of 15,000 millions. But the ocean, 3 times the extent of the land, probably contains even a much larger proportion of life, from its being penetrable through all its depths, and from our knowledge not merely of its surface, but from the strong probability, amounting almost to certainty, that the mountains and valleys of its bed are filled with vegetation, fed on by those monstrous animals whose skeletons we so constantly find embedded, and thus preserved in soils once evidently covered by the sea. So they think that there are still dinosaurs in the oceans. It's pretty cool. There probably existed millions of those huge creatures, no more capable of ascending to the surface of the ocean than man to the surface of the atmosphere, yet enjoying their existence, grazing in their submarine forests and prairies, ranging through an extent of pasture to which the broadest regions of the land are tame and narrow, and undisturbed by the hostility or the molestation of man, giving in their provision and their enjoyment proofs to higher than mortal eyes of the spontaneous and boundless beneficence of their Creator.